CID to come in and do that stuff. I know there has been conversations with them on coming and looking at that house. We have got to run around a little bit, and we're trying to work through that, but we have to rely on them to try to do that. We can't go and evict them without something from the state saying that's not allowed.
It just getting more cluttered and.
Yeah, I drove by it yesterday with Matt, and what we did with Thrive is you can't even tell we were there. He's just bringing more stuff in. There's another trailer there, so hopefully when we get into court, we can get that cleaned up, and try to look at some other avenues of maybe trying to get it cleaned up. The county going in there and doing their dilapidated stuff and trying to get that clean.
Okay.
Do you feel comfortable kind of giving a rundown of our meeting in Cloudcroft night before last?
The Forest Service one? I'll do my best.
I know, and I know I'm catching you just off the cuff, but it was interesting. It was a good meeting.
Right, so me and Matt, and Commissioner Marquardt and Commissioner Mallory were up at the Forest Service for a meeting, and it's our yearly meeting on the upcoming fire season, how the outlook's gonna be for us. It was a really good meeting. I was really worried that this was gonna be a really bad fire season. Not saying that it isn't, it's the greatest, but it looks a little bit better for us than it did last year. So we're gonna pray for some more moisture and hope that we can hold with what we have right now. We're looking to hopefully, from what it shows, is a slow start into the fire season, and hopefully we can keep that through the entire fire season. It is gonna be not as early as last year on the fire season. We're not going into any kind of restrictions up on the mountain as of right now. As long as we keep the moisture and the RH levels higher, we should be good for hopefully a little bit longer. So.
And I was glad to hear they didn't think the winds were going to be as bad this spring either. I know that can change, but
Right.
it would be awesome.
That'd be a miracle.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did you attend the emergency planning meeting last week at the ELC?
I did. I attended the workshop and the public meeting for the CWPP. Both of those meetings went really, really well. We had a good turnout on both and a lot of input from the public and the partnership in Otero County.
And what phase are we in that plan?
So I don't know exactly when it will be ready for the presentation of it. There's still a few things that they're working through that we got to do with the fire departments and some more public stuff that we gotta work with that I know of. So I don't know exactly the phase that they're in or when they're going to be ready to go public with the first part of it.
Do you know if we've expanded the plan to include like major power outages and stuff like that?
I know it was something that was talked about during our meetings, especially with the recent snowstorm that we had. It was definitely brought up about the power lines and power outages, so I believe that's something they're going to start looking at.
Okay. Anything else? No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for filling in for Matt.
Oh, I do have one for Cody though. Okay, sorry, I forgot about Cody again. Popular is absolutely in the street at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got to at least push their garbage onto their property and get it out of the street.
yeah, I've sent a letter to them. I haven't gotten it back yet, so I don't know if they've received it or not, but it usually takes there's a delay in getting the letter back if it comes back to us. But we have opened the case and have sent a letter to them, the first letter, and then we're coming up on doing the second letter here pretty soon.
So I'm told that there's some sort of a bus stop there, and kids have to walk past that.
Okay.
So now they're walking even further into the street to go around
Okay.
their garbage.
Okay.
And the other day when I drove by, I mean, they literally had vehicles like out in the street. Just, I don't know what they were doing, but we can't have kids around that with,
Okay,
I think.
I'll look and see where the easement is, if it's accurate on the map, and see if I can tackle it on that avenue as well.
Okay, and then I called, I actually called Billy Goat to verify those receipts, because it's it's incomprehensible how much money he's spending without getting anything done. And it is legit that they're swapping out containers and all that, but they did say that it is slowing. So he's not progressing as much anymore. So I don't know how we can keep him at least at the pace that he was going, because you can't even see a dent in it yet.
I'll get them following.
And then the new one from email from yesterday, which is not new, but refreshed from
Yes, ma'am.
yesterday.
I opened the case yesterday on that one.
Okay,
And sent a letter this morning to them.
okay,
Didn't make contact with them, was it not, but, which is a violation there, and I sent a letter this morning.
okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Cody, I got one more question for you. Mr. Hodgkins here, can you give us an update on Alamo Otero?
We sent the letters, I sent the second week letter, we're coming up on putting that in court. So we go to court and he pays the fine and hasn't done anything about it. We're waiting on a new junk vehicle ordinance to go into effect. That'll give me a little bit more teeth, and we're gonna try it out on that property first.
Okay, that ordinance we're gonna approve today,
For public meetings,
yeah.
yeah.
So we're working in the right footsteps going forward.
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay, and I understand there was some issues with the survey, so this is gonna have to kinda take over.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be the first one we're gonna see how it goes on.
All right.
Guinea pig. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Porter, Otero County Road Department.
Good morning.
So for the month of February, we actually had a little bit of cleanup from that big snow we had, plus we had 2 other snows to follow that were minor. I wish we'd gotten some more moisture out of it, but we haven't. Cleaned culverts, repaired culverts, replaced culverts, Camp of the Tall Pines, Chimney Lake, Stonewood Drive, we actually had. Those culverts have actually gotten to the point now they're starting to rust out completely, so we ended up replacing 2 full sets in Stonewood, No Gal Canyon in Bent, and Louder Cedar Canyon. Generated a bunch of borrowed material in our yard here for some of the flooding that we're expecting this summer. Patched throughout the county and some of the projects. Brush trimming, we did a lot of brush work this last month after that big snowstorm. We actually did some wildland training along with it with the bulldozers up in Verdon Ranch Road. We spent 2 days up in there bulldozing trees out of the road through there, getting it back open up for the Forest Service. And sign maintenance throughout the county. And worked with Matt and FEMA, well, DHS, not so much FEMA because they're on furlough right now, to get more of the flooding paperwork done from this last summer's flood events.
So have you got somebody to replace Jim yet?
We actually hired a gentleman internal. We did interviews Tuesday. We had 3 applicants, 1 internal, 2 from outside public. We hired one of the internals, and he'll be taking over. He's working with Jim right now, learning how we order signage and stuff like that.
That's a big responsibility for the county.
Yeah.
It seems like those signs just get mowed over on a regular basis.
Yes, sir.
If people keep hitting the guardrails, they're gonna hit signs. I don't know how you get a guardrail so often, but they take them out all the time.
Practice.
Yeah. There you go. I think they're getting it down to an art.
Yeah.
What is the status of the funding applications for that? Was it the blue, I'm trying to remember the name of that emergency that the
Code Blue.
governor, Code Blue emergency? That was sent so we could apply for funding for all the road repairs that you did? What's the status?
That's what we're working with FEMA right now.
Oh, that's not the
That's all part of
state.
it, yeah.
Okay.
So then all that, last week when you did all that material, that's to start rebuilding down there?
That's all part of it, yeah. That's for FO17, basically from Bobby Jones's down to the Texas state line down south of Wade Bennett's. I know you're familiar with that, I'm not not sure of either one. Yeah, it's about 18 miles of road that it washed off over a foot of material. There was about 5 miles of fiber optic exposed on that road. And so I spent the week down there last week helping one of my guys generate enough material that we can replate that road.
Well, I appreciate all the cleanup you guys have been doing, because we had tons of trees down. I mean, it's a mess.
And
It
we're
still
not done
is.
yet. The crew, like I said, the crew's been out nonstop. A lot of it on Sacramento, but we had to get that Burden Ranch Road open before windy season in case something happens up in there again. They plow that and get up in there.
Yeah, they mentioned at that forest meeting that be real careful going down those forest roads and stuff, all the blowdowns and,
There's still a lot of widowmakers everywhere.
yeah, that are froze to the ground, so they're not
Yeah,
gonna move
so
very
they're
well.
not coming out yet, yeah.
So,
Okay.
all
Thank
right.
you, thank you.
Thank you,
for your
Tom.
service,
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Trent Parker, Project Manager.
Good morning.
So first one is the hot topic of chins. We still have not received our agreements for that from the state. I know Pamela's been trying to work at it to get more information out of them of what the holdup is. The Fligure Center building is complete. We did some roof patching to mitigate the leaks we found during the last rain event. But we are also pricing coatings that have a 20-year life expectancy warranty on them. That way we can put that in for budget requests to try to extend the life of that roof without having to do a tear off. Alamo West Fire and Rescue, the water tank project's complete. Balls Acres is complete. The courthouse, this Friday at 2, we have a meeting with the design team and the contractor. They're going to discuss their revised budget numbers, and so hopefully out of that meeting, we can come out with a maximum allowed price. That way that'll allow us to go ahead and start in construction. The Twin Forks and Bent flood improvements, we received the 90% design drawings for review and comment, and we'll be getting back with the engineers on those. The Railroad Avenue Bridge, the 60% drawings were sent to DOT. We're waiting on their review and approval of those so that we can press forward with those plans. The Jackrabbits Flat Fire Department, the water storage tank and the pads were completed this month. The plumbers are about 90% done, and next week we'll start the pump house and have that one wrapped up. Demo projects, we have 5 of them on the consent agenda today, so hopefully we can get those going in the next couple of weeks and attend to those projects. The shooting range improvements, not really sure what round of improvements we're on right now, but with the budget adjustments today that's put in, we'll be able to start the new 100-yard range that Mark's been wanting and the new archery bay, and so that'll be good. The Chaparral Law Enforcement Facility, good news is we did get another $770,000 for doing work down there. The bad news is we still have not got our agreements from last year, so that's another one the county manager is actively working on. The Animal Shelter Grant, Loretta's getting pricing from several different companies and trying to get the best price possible for the structure that they need. Once we have that nailed down, I'll be able to have the specifications off of those so that I can start doing the foundation work and utility work associated with those. Oro Grande Fire Station improvements, those were completed this month. The 16 Springs plat, that is ordered. I'm expecting to have that next week, and I've reached out to you guys about nailing down a date. I'm shooting for April 6th, so reaching out and waiting for some response back from the other parties involved to try to get that arranged.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, we're gonna be on the same day, working with Soil and Water and taking a tour of the dams.
Mhm.
So we need the plaque, to be about like 4 o'clock in the afternoon so that we can head down from the dams.
All right. Be nice and warm by then anyway. 16 Springs Canyon is not very warm sometimes. The administration building, the historical assessment plan, got notification I should have that plan, the complete plan back by the end of the month, so we'll be able to start looking at getting grants for improvements to this building. The administration entry improvements this last month, the contractor demoed the existing countertop and casework and installed the new fully reinforced wall and countertops. Next Tuesday, the manufacturer from the glass will be here on site to just verify some measurements so that we make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be when it does get installed. We don't have an exact date of when we'll have that glass. There's a pretty long lead time on level 4 ballistic glass, and we'll see how that works. The Ora Vista Fire Station road shop this month completed the pad, and the contractors submitted for their permit, and we'll be next week starting the groundwork for footings and forming and placement of concrete. And the building should be delivered in, I believe, the 21st or 22nd. So, other than that, a lot of budget pricing for various departments of proposed projects for budgetary reasons, and that's about it.
Trent, do we need to have RB drop a letter and send to this engineering company on the courthouse? It's been 2 years now, and I'm really scared we're gonna lose some money, the funding money that supposedly was promised to us. Every month we wait, it just gets more expensive and more expensive, and before long, we're gonna have a little bitty shack out there and spend a whole lot of money.
Well, it's actually gone along pretty well. The whole process to even hire on a job this scale, to even hire the design team, was about a 4-month process. Once that was nailed down, then it was come down to we needed to hire the CMARC, which turned into another 60 to 90 day process. Then they've been actively working on the design, and I get a lot of updates from the design team on where they're at. Now, once we came in and realized that we were well over budget, that's when it really slowed things down, because we had to go back and relook at and meet with the court systems to see what they could do without, for the time being. What could we just shell out for the time being? Because currently, the 4 courtrooms upstairs, it's been cut back to where one of them's just going to be a shell out build. It'll have to be finished at a later date, but that was also a courtroom that they planned for the future. And some of the court services, adult probation, stuff like that's going to remain at the existing building, because we at this time, it's not within our budget to finish out those areas. There'll be a shell out as well. A lot of that took a lot of time, but that also reset our contractor to have to start all over pretty much from scratch doing all their cost estimating. So that slowed it down quite a bit.
And a lot of work is being done on the front end with the planning and the pricing that normally would occur as the project's moving along, and all that's being front-loaded, and whatever those prices are that are quoted, they're stuck with. And so we're trying to think of everything and address everything that we're going to miss some stuff, but there's been a lot of time and effort put into getting everything lined up and planned out before starting, so that we can drastically minimize surprises that typically happen. There's still going to be some, but we've brought in a lot of these projects in the past. Maintenance didn't have a seat at the table and weren't being consulted. The security team from the sheriff's office is at the table. Everyone that is going to be involved in this building is providing their input ahead of time and going into the planning, so we don't get it built and we can't do some type of maintenance because something wasn't addressed. So I understand that we have the concerns too. I had a conversation with the head of ASA Architects last Friday about the funding, and that are we getting feedback from him, like, are you concerned about where we're at? We are coming up on timelines for funding, we can't lose that money, and he's done a lot of these projects, and he thinks we're where we need to be.
Well, I just know from experience on the residential square footage prices, they're out of the world, and I'm afraid of it. It's just gonna price itself right out to where you might as well move a double wide or a modular out there. Because that's what it's gonna come down to for long, if we just keep on delaying.
And that's been a variable that's made it difficult for us because it has to be a usable building. Because it needs to be a usable building for at least the next 50, 60 years. And in that, we are also having to plan ahead of time. We don't want them to outgrow that building in 5 to 10 years. So a lot of that was factored in to the design and development phase of it, what exactly was needed. And that's what really slowed us down when we had to go back when we were out of budget. And of course, the contractor, knowing they're gonna be on the hook, they're being very, very liberal with their pricing.
I understand that, but we've had plans, preliminary plans since before I was a commissioner, that's 8 years ago. And it just keeps going on and on and on. I mean, it's not your fault, I understand that, but somehow it's gotta speed up.
Well, those at that time were more concept drawings of what they were trying to propose and trying to reach a goal of what the county actually wanted. Now they've been, as the design goes through, the contractor is working with the designer on that to make sure availability for materials, everything. So, I mean, the contractor wants to get started as much as we do because they don't want the prices to go up anymore either. And there's a lot of equipment like the electrical switch gears and the air handlers and stuff like that that have very long lead times on them. So they're wanting to get this started so that stuff can be procured now. That way we're not waiting on it when we have a finished building, but we don't have any power to it. So there's a lot of moving parts on a job this scale.
Well,
And to clarify, your meeting on Friday is with what? With it about the?
It's to review all their proposed budget for the building and to verify that we are in budget as forecasted from our scaling back and changing some of the square footages, removing some areas that didn't need to be, that was more wish list than need. And so it'll be to go through all of that, and if they can come to us and tell us that it is now in budget, we can finalize a maximum allowed cost, and that's kind of the final piece before construction. So after that, they'll be able to start some site work and start working on getting all their materials.
so all the changes that you made to this is agreeable with the judges and all that
Yes.
too? Because they are a part of this.
Yeah, no, we work very close with all of them.
We're not doing anything without their input and buy-in. We don't want to go down the lawsuit route again. We want to work together as a team, and we have very well. There's lots of collaboration, and it's a team effort.
And with the meetings that I've had too, they're very happy with what's going on.
Yeah, I'd be happy too if there's something going on.
Very soon, very soon.
And I know Senator Townsend's really been working, trying to push DSA on that money. And he's literally been in the secretary's office up there, so.
And they have reached out to us and asked for additional information and different things like that, which they've never done in the past. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but Pamela and I try to respond as quickly as possible. I mean, most times within the hour of them sending a request, so we don't want the holdup to be on our end.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Okay,
Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for all you
Trent.
do.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Nina Sisler, Correctional Services Director. For the month of February 2026, I'm cold, I'm sorry.
It's cold here today.
Average daily population is 165. Today's population was 166. So our in-house population was 149. We have 134 males, 32 females, 2 at Otero prison, 5 on treatment furloughs, 1 on a furlough, 1 DOC CJ hold, 2 in Lincoln County, and 1 out of county. Juveniles, we have 5. We have 2 at Lee County. Males, 2 males in Bernalillo and 1 female in Bernalillo. Donna Anna's been full, so we've had to go further. We had 1 in San Juan, but they were released, so good thing. Video courts, we had 51 municipal courts. Magistrate court, we had 115. District court, we've had 95. Out-of-county courts, 15. In-person courts for the month of February, we've had 16 and 19 district. Our vacancies, we have 8 full-time officer vacancies. We do have interviews today. We have a male and female because we're very short female officers, so I've been working in the back quite often. So hopefully she's good. We have 1 male and 1 female. They did do orientation last week for 1 male officer, full-time male officer, who is now doing on-the-job training. So got 1 and got 2 more hopefully today. We did the victims advocate with the sexual assault same unit, did some training for our facility so we have understanding of sexual assault. And they actually came on shift and they did training for them on the 19th, 26th, and 27th. And I believe March 11th, yesterday as well. Actual same nurse comes on site just to describe, even if it happens in the facility against one another, what the process is. We had 2 males transported to the Salvation Army treatment program. Some other things we do, our February employee of the month is Detention Officer Salvador Salinas. Of course, so we had 4 staff and 3 detainees participate in Keep Otero Beautiful on February 21st as well.
Thank you for that.
I know it was cold that day, thank you for that. And they were freezing, but they did good from my understanding.
Yep.
It was very positive. Yeah,
Good.
that was
I'm
good.
glad. I'm really glad, thankful. Trying to get more staff, but, it's difficult, so.
You need to send them with coats next time.
Yes, I think we need to just put all of that in the unit just in case, because I had an obligation and I was actually outside and I was freezing, so I can imagine. Because we do have gloves and we do have the orange jackets, so next time we'll come more prepared. Any question?
Nope. Is that a program that we can try to work a little more on to get more participation? And I understand it's the level of.
Yeah, it's limited of staffing, very limited. But we used to participate in the fully staffed days quite a bit. We used to actually have an officer that used to go to designated areas that would complain in commission meetings on it and do trash and things like that. But it's a staffing and high profile. We were able to find 3 that made the qualifications better. Like I said, if we have to use females, then I'm sure they would do the same. Either way, it's just the staffing is the issue. Because you have to really watch them, and the more you have, the more officers you have to have out there. So, but I don't have an issue, I think it's great, and we did it for a long time, until, of course, all the things changed in staffing with COVID and everything like that. And so it made it difficult to do that, and the other programs that the facility used to participate in as well. So, it's just.
Well, I know they appreciated it, everybody coming, and it was a good turnout. And
Yes.
hopefully they enjoyed being kind of outside. And
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
They did. They were excited. And we do we give them little goodie bags from our commissary to show appreciation as well. So they have some kind of reward for doing it.
I was gonna let you know, I went to the sheriff's conference in Reno also, and while we were there, they've got, it was like 300 vendors, all law enforcement, safety stuff, but they have tons of corrections information too and stuff. And they have a new x-ray machine that will literally x-ray, it'll show the change of any kind of composition in a book to let you know if there's drugs inside the book or a letter. You just scan it through. So I know we brought back some information from you. Have you gotten it yet? I know Sheriff Flagg put a goodie bag and we were picking up stuff off the table and
I
talking.
don't think I've received that.
Okay, well, we'll get it to you because it has some interesting stuff. And I asked them about the Suboxone, if they found a way to detect that. And they do with some of these scanners. They said that will pick that up too. So,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
So hopefully we got you some
So I
good
get to look at
information.
it.
I know,
Yes.
yeah, it was a good
Appreciate
conference.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Good, thank you. Hey, John, before I forget, can you make sure I get that sheriff's report on the stats on the tickets and like, okay, thank you.
I don't think we have anybody from the Forest Service. I don't see anybody. Okay. Okay, we are gonna move on to the consent agenda, and we're not pulling anything today, so get ready. We're doing some reading. Okay, number 2, request approval of account payable bills list BL 31, 31A, 32, 33, 34, and 34A. Number 3, request approval of February 10th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Number 4, request approval of February 26, 2026 special meeting minutes. Number 5, request approval of healthcare assistance claims and disposition claims for March 2026. Number 6, request approval of resolution number 3-12-26/114-51, 14 Thistle, Bulls Acres, New Mexico, dilapidated property in accordance with ordinance number 22-02. Number 7, request approval of resolution number 3-12-26/114-52, 10 Cano Street, Alamogordo, New Mexico, dilapidated property in accordance with ordinance number 22-02. Number 8, request approval of resolution number 3-12-26/114-53, 31 Second Street, Bulls Acres, New Mexico, dilapidated property in accordance with ordinance number 22-02. Number 9, request approval of resolution number 3-12-26/114-54, 15 Cactus Avenue, Bulls Acres, New Mexico, dilapidated property in accordance with ordinance number 22-02. Number 10, request approval of resolution number 3-12-26/114-55, 83 Otero, Otero, New Mexico, dilapidated property in accordance with ordinance number 22-02. Number 11, request approval of resolution number 03-12-26/114-56, adopting a standardized emergency response identification numbering system. Number 12, request approval of resolution number 03-12-26/114-57, budget adjustments, March 2026. Number 13, request approval of resolution number 03-12-26/114-60, an assessment management plan. Number 14, request approval of memorandum of understanding between Lincoln County, Otero County, and Mescalero Apache Tribe to establish a cooperative and collaborative framework to jointly support, resource, and implement behavioral health programs funded under Behavioral Health Reform and Investment Act. Number 15, request approval of a professional service agreement between Otero County and Ms. Erin Atkins for the prosecution of county code enforcement cases. And do I need to read that, RB, those changes?
Yeah, just make note that the difference that is being approved today.
Okay, that we made changes to that, what was published in the original book. First, the hourly rate, section 5.1 has been revised to $400 per hour. Second, section 1.2 has been added to clarify that the county, not the contractor, will handle preparation and filing of complaints, subpoenas, disclosures, and discovery, and the contractor will not advise on charging decisions. And then we got revised copies in our books. Okay, number 16, request approval to submit annual PERA reports for volunteer firefighters under the Volunteer Firefighter Retirement Act. And number 17, request approval to change one full-time classified position into 2 part-time positions with the hourly rate of $23.92, staying the same.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're gonna go to number 18, Mitch Hibbard with PVT to present the board with current projects in Otero County.
Yay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to just kind of tell our story here. And we come today asking for nothing. We just want to give you a
Yay!
report.
We
So,
like that.
That means I get to ask?
what's that?
That means I get to ask
That's
for
right.
everything.
I don't have any fiber near you.
Right.
I have with me today JJ. JJ English is, she's one of our engineering techs. She's a perfect example of what PVT does. And JJ was born and raised in the Sacramento Mountains. She's worked her way up the ranks through the company, and she's the final step before people get connected to fiber now. So
Yay.
people really like her when she's doing this. But I do want to thank you for all of your letters of support, for all of coming to the pre-construction meetings, coming to the Foundation for Rural Services tour this last summer. I want to thank the road department for your coordination with us and your attitude towards just the fiber build in general. That it is economic development. And thank you so much. I had some slides and a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I'm trying to reduce my words. There we go. If you want to go to the next slide. We don't serve a tremendous amount of Otero County, but we do serve some of the most rural areas down by Pinon and a lot of the mountains there. So some of the communities that we serve is Mayhill, Weed, Sacramento, like I said, Pinon. We also provide an alternative service in the village of Cloudcroft. Tularosa Basin serves there very well, and so do we. So you do have options there. But it's about 645 square miles of Otero County. It is some of our most densely populated areas. So as you can imagine, the Local Hills, the Hope area, those kind of areas, there's just not a lot of folks there. So it is where the density is of the cooperative. So we'll go to the next slide. So now we're up to over about 1,400 miles of fiber optic cable. We do use a lot of different technologies to serve that rural area. It's about 5,000 square miles. We've got a customer density of 1 customer per 2 square miles, so it's tough to serve. But we use fiber, we use copper, we use coax, we use the wireless solutions, but we've been around since 1949. So we're still governed by a co-op board that is members of the co-op elected by the co-op membership. So we do have an annual meeting, which we always send the invites. I think sometimes you come, so it's great. But our goal is to have 100% fiber to all of our co-op members. In fact, our CEO has told me I can't retire until I do that. So we're really pushing it now. But we are approaching about 40% with fiber now. So that's a big step. I think 3 years ago we were less than 2%.
Wow.
So it is quickly moving. JJ just let me know on the cutovers that she's working on. We've got about 700 of those rural homes that can now get fiber. She just turned over another 120 more this last week. And so things are really moving. If you go to the next slide. So this is kind of the current status of where we serve. We have 11 funding awards from both state and federal agencies. I think you all provided a letter of support for each one of those. And we're not used to losing, although occasionally we do not get an award. But most of these are low-interest loans. They're grants with a matching component. Or we did finally get one that was 100% grant. So that's the best one yet. But the green areas that you see up here, they can already get gigabit speeds. So that's the James Canyon area that you see there, Cloud Country Estates, Cloud Country West, Stars Inn, Mount Joy. And we can also do gigabit speed in the village of Cloudcroft. We do that through coax, not fiber currently. The yellow area is what is under construction right now. So it's the 16 Springs area, the rest of James Canyon there, Cox Canyon, going out towards Civils, the Weed, the Sacramento area, Miller Flats. Those will all have fiber service by mid-year. So most of the mainline construction is done. With these grants and loans, we're spending about $3 to $5 million a quarter. So, we're pretty busy. But most of the areas, to get them built, you were just talking about in the last conversation, is our funding gonna run out? Is it gonna run out? And so timing is everything. So we made the choice to go aerial. That comes with some problems. Hopefully, we've got most of those resolved, but people kind of criticize the aerial cable sometimes because they're more easily damaged. But I know during construction, we haven't hit a water line yet. But it also causes the least disturbance to the land and to the residents. We're not tearing up the world. Check on my road guy over here. But this is all moving along. You can see the coverage is pretty extensive. If there's people there, we've about got it covered. We're gonna have a few that we don't get. So, if you go to the next slide. So this is one we were working on with the county manager, and this was a Community Connect grant program. And this is what we proposed to do in conjunction with the county, is we just wanted to provide fiber access, gigabit speed to these different community centers. Unfortunately, that did not get funded. They ran out of money before they got to our application. So we've already discussed with we're gonna do this anyways. We're gonna do a lot of this just anyways. We did it during COVID, we had the access points there. Most of those we didn't turn off, they're still on. If you pull up to the Pinon store, you'll look at your phone where there's no cell service, and it'll say PDT student access. It's free, there's no password. Some of our cybersecurity folks hate it, but we're doing it anyways. But they are looking for some more funding to go ahead and fund these. They didn't grade them on the merit, they graded them on the time they were submitted. And we just got our applications in towards the end. But still in the works.
I thought that I read that in the big beautiful bill, they expanded the funding that President Biden started in that. It wasn't to the amount, but it expanded what the projects were.
So there is the BEAD funding, and that was the part of the infrastructure bill back in '21, and it took forever. This administration did get it rolled out. We actually have a $46 million award in that. There's a lot of elements in there that slow this stuff down, but we did get an award. We're not able to start yet. We don't have access to funds. It's a $36 million grant. The rest is matching funds, which for us is a loan. And so we were able to secure a loan through CoBank to do that. That's going to pick up about 2,100 locations that we currently couldn't get with the funding that we had. But there was a portion of BEAD that was non-deployment funds. And so it was for things like affordable access, training, some middle mile fiber, because we all got to be connected, we all got to get out. And we can't just have the last mile. And so there's still some discussions about that. There was some clarity in the big beautiful bill for that. That's being fleshed out right now.
Okay.
So we're all over it.
Okay.
But if you go to our next slide, we've got a pretty big platform now. We've got $140 million in funding, and since 2019. We've been very, very successful. Like I said, we're turning this around pretty quick with the fiber. Permitting can take up to 2 years or more. That's still an issue. Forest Service guy here, but okay. One of the most recent successes was Senate Bill 152 in this last session. The governor did sign it. And basically, it creates it's for the affordability aspect. Because we can build this all we want, but if that retired guy in Weed can't afford it, it doesn't matter. And so this is with existing funds, with the PRC. It is scalable, so it may increase. But with the existing funds, it's a $30 off if you're within 130% of the poverty line. It's very similar to the Affordable Connectivity Program that they had a couple years ago on a federal level, but they just ran out of money and they didn't fund it again. It was pretty successful for us. A lot of people were able to get on, born out of the COVID era. But there's still a need, and the state is doing it, and there is no sunset. It's going to be continually funded. It's going to be regulated by the PRC. I got to go visit with it at 4 o'clock in Roswell today. But,
And I heard that the state contracted with an Amazon company that does, like Starlink does, but they're not in New Mexico. So what does that look like if they're not even providing services in New Mexico?
let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
So, one of the things that PDT proudly does is we are very, very much involved in our community. And in our little office in Mayhill, which the main office is in Artesia, there's 15 families tied to that get to live in the Sacramento Mountains. I fully realized that people had to look for an alternative to the copper DSL that was out there. I think you yourself at your business. I know there was a fiber project going on out by you when I was out there the first of the year or so. But there's you're not going to see Starlink do any of this. You're not going to see Amazon sponsor, buy the second place lamb at the county fair. I went by our manager's office the other day, and she had a basketball signed by a local basketball team that we give $500 to, but they can have a team. And I realized people had to pivot to a Starlink or Amazon Leo is what they're calling it now, which doesn't exist yet. But the state has awarded them money. But they're not going to have this local presence. The one thing with fiber, getting Starlink when you had DSL, it's kind of like saying, I don't have the electricity I need to do what I need to do. Here's a great generator. It's fantastic. Once you get fiber, that's like being connected to the electrical grid now. And the best thing, you can do your own research with Starlink or Amazon Leo and fiber. But the best thing that I can say, only one of them raises the property value of your house 3.5% to 7%, and that's fiber. And there's a reason. And it's also going to locally employ people. It's going to give our older people that customer support they needed. As I tried Starlink at my house, and I like to think I'm a little tech savvy. JJ laughs. But it's tough. You might be down for a week or two while you wait for a new cable. How do you do your school? How do you have that telehealth visit? How do you work from home if you're waiting on a new cable? Well, we have text 24/7. They'll get out there and they'll keep you going. It's also fiber, which anybody that's dealt with either one, they're always going to pick fiber. We just recently connected up the, used to be the Sacramento Methodist Assembly, it's the Camping Conference Center now, and they were so glad to get rid of their Starlink and get our fiber. And,
I'm ready to get rid of it.
What's that?
I'm ready to get rid of it.
I know.
It's right, that they put the line right in front of how long does it take from that 20 feet to get to the building?
They don't have a JJ. But, and that's right. I told the folks at the Weed Community Association meetings, I know you needed to do what you needed to do, It caught me off guard. We were at one of their meetings last year. We had donated $250 to the Bluegrass Festival. They had taken that $250, bought their Starlink equipment. And I told them, you're welcome to continue to do that. But we're going to provide an access point at the Weed Community Center at no charge. There's no cell service there. There's no anything there. They need it for the Bluegrass Festival. And it's going to be gigabit speed. It's going to be three times, and it's scalable to be up to 30 times faster than Starlink because it's fiber. You won't have the latency issues. You won't have anything. And when it doesn't work on the day of Bluegrass, we got 3 techs on their way. And they will get it working. If there's some kind of issue. You'll probably be there. They'll probably be there anyways because they're the local folks.
Yeah.
And so I told them at Weed, I said, I know some of you had to do what you had to do because you had to work. You had to have that speed that you didn't get with the DSL. We're moving as fast as permits allow and funding as well. But, and I also shared with them about 10 or 15 years ago, you guys may remember some of this, but we fought to keep our post offices in those rural areas. And one of the reasons I fought hard for it is because I thought someday my kid might need a job there. And with companies like PVT and with Tulos Basin, those are good local jobs. And you may not need one, you may not know anybody that works there, but you may have a child or a grandchild or something that wants to live in those mountains, that wants to be there, and there's that availability. Plus fiber wins anyways. And anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. I know you gave me a limit on my time.
And speaking towards that, TBTC, PBT, they put back into their employees as well. So there's hiring, moving up within. It's just a really good company to work for, so.
Well, one thing we've done, speaking of that, I'm glad you said something, JJ, is, we have a lot of trainings. When JJ came to us, she knew nothing. She knew a lot, but not business. But, she's just ramped up with the trainings that are provided. We developed our own local folks. And this last year, we even opened up that up to some high school seniors. We paid for a couple kids to come to one of our fiber trainings at our main office. And we took care of them while they were there. And they came all the way from Cloudcroft. And we offer that every time that we have that. So I think we do good things. I like the cooperative model. We're owned by the people we serve. So I'll certainly glad to expound on any of that, off the record or anything like that, but I'll gladly take any questions.
TBTC signed up 2 years ago for their high school internship program, and where the state actually pays for interns to work, and what they do is answer the phones for tech support. Do you guys have a program like that?
We had about 6 interns last year.
Good.
That we did. We actually, that's not any funding I went after, so we funded that ourselves.
Oh.
And, we found it to be very successful. There was only one guy we had to get rid of, and you just can't sleep on the job,
We frown on that.
Do you have any other questions?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I appreciate everything you're doing.
All right.
And while you're talking, I'm watching John behind you. He's kind of our internet guy that keeps us lined out. And he's shaking his head, yeah. So I know what you're saying is on the up and up.
He doesn't want this building on Starlink. You don't want your hospital on Starlink. You don't want your banking transactions on Starlink. The fiber's going to give us some of the economic development that we need, where you can go ahead and do these things. You have something reliable, sustainable, and scalable. We can go up to 10 gigs symmetrical with what we just deployed. So.
And it seemed to have overcome the telephone pole issue.
Well, actually, I leveraged the state, and I complained enough to them. I complained to you guys. I complained to anybody that would listen that might have a solution, which usually contains a $sign. And the state changed one of their grant programs where they had a special projects category. And I was reading it, I'm like, could I put pole make ready in this? And I called them and I asked them, and they said, you better, because you're the reason we put it in. And so we actually got about $3.2 million in broadband dollars to replace aging electrical poles. And
That's great.
and so we were able to do that with broadband dollars. So that was, I think, a win for everybody.
Yep.
And I've asked to try to do that more on a federal level because it's a national issue. I mean, we have an aging power grid. Poles are 75 years old, and there's no good mechanism to fund a replacement for that. And so Otero's been good to work with on this. We've had a good relationship with them, and we also do with Central Valley Electric. Two different types of co-ops. One has a tremendous amount of resources because they make money selling power, and they have the oil and gas industry. Otero does not have that, but they got a tremendous amount of very expensive infrastructure. But they can sell a lot of power. A lot of them are seasonal homes and all that too. So it's a challenge. The challenges are different. But we were able to secure them. I'm about $2 million short. But anyways, the polls look great.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for teaching me about all these connections and cables and all that stuff, that useless information I have in my brain.
Every time I get an email from JJ, it means we're turning it over to Mary. And it's just always warm my heart.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Okay, and I think we are gonna, under new business, we're gonna move the last item, number 26, we're gonna move it up to the first item we talked about, just because I know there's people here that wanna hear that. So we'll go ahead and do our unscheduled citizens communication. The first person on the list is Alan Gonzalez. And are you typing, RB?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody understands it's a 3-minute process. Okay.
Yeah, I just have some quick statements and I'm ready when Mr. Nichols is ready.
Ready, set, go.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Thank you, County Commissioner, for seeing me today. I first want to say that work that PVT is doing is great, even though I'm not affected by it, but I have Chaparral Wireless in my home, and fiber is the way to go. We tried other things, and it's just best to do business with local businesses that provide local jobs. So that's great that you all have some good work with PVT. That's great. And as a matter of fact, I'm all for a lot of our small businesses to not just improve where there are, but ensuring that we create more smaller business. Also for, just like growth strategies for everything. Good evening. My name is Alan Gonzalez. I'm a candidate for County Commissioner. I'm running for Mrs. Madely's chair. I would like to talk about a little bit about Chaparral. I live there, and from the meeting of today, we see that there's going to be some talk about data centers. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the abstract and the facts that happen in a data center. In reality, they do provide jobs, but it's just the initial portion of the construction. Afterwards, it's just people that live outside of town, and people who, it's just going to be around 60 to 50 jobs full-time. And that's for just the maintenance of it, and a lot of it is for engineers who have a lot of experience in these data centers. So a lot of times they just bring people up from the outside. Another thing that I want to talk about that is that Chaparral is not an industrial park. It's a safe space for homes and families right here next to the people of Chaparral. And the residents that would be affected with data center deserve to have a voice in the table, not just in the room tonight, this morning. But with this commissioner's office, where the decision to be made, I just want to make sure that this that we don't keep our conversation quiet. The operation sounds are 24/7. The sounds, the air pollution, the water pollution, that would be affecting all these communities that we live here. And the people that live in Chaparral love it because you can see the stars in the sky. You can taste the water that is crisp and fresh.
the water that the Colquitt's provide us is cleaner than I would have when I used to live in Cantillo, or even other parts of El Paso or Juarez, which I lived there for a time as well. These data centers that are coming into our communities, they come in a way that it's providing not unsafe environment for a lot of people because the type of energy that they create. It depends on the type of energy that they utilize, if it's gas power, diesel, or sometimes nuclear. So that's one of the questions that I would like to impose for the commissioners for this study. What is the timeline of the study? If it's going to use nuclear.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Joanne Bulow?
Hello, County Commissioners. You know I don't come here often, so I think this is a very important subject about the data centers. I'm representing as CD2 Chair of the Environmental Justice Caucus for the Democratic Party, and I'm also the President of Otero County LULAC, which supports civil rights and social justice, and especially in minority communities, of which this data center is being proposed. There also is a data center in the Texas side, which also is in a minority community. So the number one question we have is, why are they putting these data centers in the desert where there's no water and in minority communities? And most of the time when there's an environmental effect, it's because of the minority communities, and they don't usually sue. I can tell you that National LULAC is involved in some of these lawsuits, so that's something to consider. There was a lawsuit in the Sunland Park area because the community wasn't alerted to what was going to be proposed in the area, and I think it had something to do with the Sarco. It got closed, but so that's something to consider. We need town halls. The people need to have a say. I also have some questions from the Environmental Justice Caucus in that what companies are requesting building the data center, how financially stable is the proposed data center company, how will the data center produce power it needs, are they considering nuclear, what will be the effect on the local water supply. And right now, the water supply being used by the Texas side is coming from Chaparral, Otero. What are the plans for a power grid? And power grids, they are going to try to request a break in their costs from P&M or whoever the electric company is, and then they pass that price down to the people, or that cost down to the people. How will this affect the residents' power supply? What kind of coolant system will be used? If the company is not financially successful, how is Otero County residents, how are we protected, and who is going to clean up the mess? What public funds are going to be needed, LIDA, industrial revenue bonds, etc.? Will the data center be getting tax breaks of some kind? And does the proposed company have a track record of data center work? What other projects or businesses has it been involved with? And how long will construction take? Thank you.
Thank you.
I will submit these in writing too.
Yeah,
I can have it.
those are good questions.
Tanya Burns?
Hi, Commissioners. I just wanted to start by thanking you for your opening, Amy, with mentioning that we need to take the light out, put it on top of the bowl so everybody can see, and that's basically what I'm talking about this morning, is transparency. We had a beautiful presentation just now, no surprises from the PDT person. Let's start off by calling out what it is, no transparency with number 26. There's a presupposition in the statement that that there's competitive advancement, and as such, the document is assuming that we want a data center. We don't have the transparency. This has not been led by meaningful and adequate notification to neighbors and community. We have not had meaningful and adequate process of the mechanics of input and response. We're starting with the cart before the horse. There have been no identification or provisions of experts to educate us about what data centers even mean for our county. We do not have unity of purpose, and we haven't identified who the shared stakeholders are, and yet we have this document. So number 26 is assigned to our attorney, who has a great lot of expertise in, with yourselves, but we need to ask some questions. Who are the initiators of this project? What company or companies, and what are their debts? And what is their record of permit compliance? What size, scope, and scale are we talking about? Are we talking about something like the Jupiter Center that has twice the pollution of Albuquerque plus Las Cruces combined? And if so, what's the dimensional analysis for all of that? And what legal issues are we going to be saddled with? What requirements are we going to have to meet for air, water, and pollution mitigation, and at what cost? And who's going to pay for that on what kind of a timescale? Where is the infrastructure building money going to come from? What renewables are we going to deliver? Lifestyle changes, pollution mitigation costs, what will those be? Why now? Why without transparency? Is there a fear of missing out? Is there a fear of missing out of getting this perhaps nailed down before a microgrid act may pass in 27? I mean, what really is the real reason why we're throwing this on the table today? When adequate and we need to know when. What will adequate and meaningful notice look like, and when will it be provided to our community so that we can process the components that go into this? And I'm asking, I actually very much appreciate Amy's comment of thanking the guy and the lady who was sitting here, JJ, for educating her on biostem stuff. But literally this morning, today, guys, how much STEM and bio-social health, cultural impact training has the staff and the commissioners right now, this second, while we're putting this on the table and jumping ahead? How much expertise do we have? And how much of this is,
Thank you very much.
is really happening in the context
Your
of the
time is up.
fact
Thank you.
that we have not had transparency, and we need transparency. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to just close by thanking you guys very much for your attention and letting you know that I have not seen yourself, or any of these people at the Rika movie. First we bombed in Mexico. I haven't seen you starting to give out any information about the billions of dollars that we're already trying to disperse in this community, and yet we're jumping to a data center to distract ourselves from the actually dealing
Our
with
next
the
speaker
billions
to
and
speak
billions
is
of
Bridget
dollars.
Price. Your time's up, I'm sorry.
Billions of dollars that we should be managing right at this moment in this.
Bridget, would you like to come up? Thank you.
Actually, I think I'll just stay here.
Well, you have to come up here to be on the mic so the people at home can hear you.
Okay. The points that she brought up.
Please say your name into the mic.
Excellent. Good morning.
Good morning.
She brought up all the points.
Excuse
that I
me,
was
can you
gonna-
please say your name, just so it's on the record?
Bridget Price.
Thank you.
She brought up a lot of good points. In fact, all of the ones that I was interested in. The only thing I want to know is, do you know any of the answers?
The what?
Answers.
I'll give you answers. I'll give you a few answers.
Okay,
and
sure.
then-
Like, for instance, what are the companies that are applying for this?
I don't want to take your time, so as soon as
Oh, so you're
we get
going to
through.
answer these?
I am going to answer them.
Oh, excellent. You will
This is my
answer.
fifth grade teacher. I got to answer.
Oh, RD. So are you going to answer all of her questions? Because really, she covered everything that I.
Miss Willows?
Uh-huh.
I will. I didn't. If I get if she brings it to me, I will answer everyone. But I did not get them all written down.
Okay. Well, then, let's see. I would like to know which companies are applying. I want to know how we're going to pay for it. How are we gonna handle the water issues? You have those down? Okay. And, let's see, what did she not cover? She covered everything. So, when will this be covered by, like, when is the next committee hearing gonna be on that?
Would be a good question. We'll decide that in the discussion here, and you can ask if you have questions when that comes up. Just throw a hand up and.
Item 26 is gonna do all your answers and
No, I
stuff.
mean like the next.
There is nothing
schedule.
yet.
There's not one yet?
No. So I understand the concern, and I will address much of it in just a minute
Okay.
when we're
All
ready
right,
to get to it.
because, Ms. Willa is, what? Lula, Ms. Lula.
But he knows me, so I'll just send it to
Okay, she covered everything.
Okay.
So if you have those, that's great.
Yep.
I'm sure my 3 minutes are nearly up.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes, I'm Shara Atkinson, and I'm here as a private citizen. First of all, I'd say I'm not for the data center, but my big point was the BHIRA, which you passed in the consent agenda. I'm so happy we're continuing with that. We need behavioral health help in Otero County. So that's all I really got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's everybody, because the others on this side were the same people that,
Signatures.
yeah, I think they just signed there, so I think that's it.
Before we go into that item, we can take.
Okay.
Just
Okay, we're gonna take a real quick break, and then we'll continue with item number 26. And then get started back, and so we're gonna open it up with item number 26. And let me read this. Request approval to authorize the county attorney to conduct a preliminary feasibility assessment and stakeholder outreach for data center and advanced energy development. And I'm gonna just let you take over, RV.
Okay. All right, so first, no one tasked me with this. We talked about cart and horse. I'm the horse, so hi. I very much appreciate everyone coming because this should be a discussion and it's important and there should be transparency. 100% agree. This is the first thing that is taking place. I mean, it's from my head to here. So hopefully that alleviates some concerns. So maybe why? We are very capped in what revenue we can bring into our area. There's 89% federal land, so property taxes out. What we got is mostly what we've got. And then there's GRT, and then there's being dependent on the state and when they throw some breadcrumbs, and then it takes time to get it. So we need other sources of revenue. There are a lot of goals that various groups have for how we grow as a community and what we can do for each other, and it takes money. And so this is one potential source of funding, and it is controversial, and there are issues surrounding it, and so it's important for everyone to talk about that and to have honest, transparent conversations. So this is the start of that. So first thing, there's no companies. I'm asking the commission to say that they're open to it, and I will reach out to companies. So far none have approached us. They went other areas. There's the Project Jupiter, which is billions of dollars, and that's a lot of money, but what are the issues with it? That's a fair question. And Chaves County has one that is in the works as far as I know. But Otero County has not been approached. I would like to at least have the discussions and see what opportunities are there. And why now? Because this is moving fast. Things are moving exponentially in our world right now. And with each advancement in AI, it's going to get faster. And so a lot of opportunities have passed us by because our hand simply wasn't in the air, and we were overlooked for one reason or another. So I just want us to be part of the conversation and considered. And that is the intent with this. One of the most significant concerns is water, right? All right, so we don't have much drinking water, and we need to protect the drinking water we have because it's kind of got to have it every day. So that's a big deal. I am taking that into consideration, and something that may be overlooked and the companies might not be aware of is the vast amount of brackish water that is in the Tularosa Basin. When we talk about Chaparral was mentioned. That's a different basin. It's the Hueco Basin. It also has brackish water. But I would rather the data center be somewhere around here if we were to get one. But the amounts of brackish water that we have underground that can be processed, the technology exists, is not going to run out anytime soon. I can give figures if we want them. So the fresh water in the basin is that's 4% of the water. Only so much of the brackish water is usable and convertible, but what exists with that is so a data center could use 5 million gallons of water per day, which is 5,600 acre feet per year. There is estimated between 3.6 to 5.4 million acre feet of usable brackish water on the east side, just the east side of the basin alone. That's not going to be exhausted by a data center in our lifetime. And by then, Elon Musk has a plan for them to be in space where the cooling is taken care of. And so this might not be an issue in, I don't know, however long it takes him to get them to space where it's financially viable. And then this opportunity's gone. So that's why I at least want to have the conversation. And we need other forms of power. The current administration is pushing micro-nuclear, and that could be a source of power for the plant, a data center. Nuclear has a bad name, but it is not what it used to be, and it is safe. The Navy has used it for 60 to 70 years on their subs with no incidents. It's true green energy, if we want to talk about green energy as far as clean. And I want a debate and conversation about the science, and we put it all out there and we see what opportunities exist. This is not committing us to anything today other than to have more discussions. And what I will do is send out inquiries and letters to companies to see if they want to come take a look. And I can report to the commission monthly on the progress. And maybe I haven't gotten around to it and done anything, or maybe I sent 10 letters and it's crickets. Or there might be 5 companies, and these are the companies, and they want to do presentations. So let's see what they have to say, and then we'll do that as a public hearing, and the public can be present and ask questions, and we'll see where it goes. So that is all I'm asking, Commission, is to approve this and acknowledge that we're open to the consideration of it. And I will do more inquiries and reach out. I did promise that I would answer all Ms. Will's questions. So number 1 was what companies? There are no companies. And so 2 was how financially stable are they? Again, no companies, but these are important questions. Like someone that doesn't have a good track record is not someone we want to enter into a long-term, huge agreement with. So we don't have the room for those failures. How will they produce power? So potential is nuclear, is what I'm thinking, but there's also natural gas. There's some natural gas pipelines that are in place that I think we're along 54. Those could potentially be a consideration, but maybe it's not viable. Maybe none of this works, but it's just worth checking it out. Plans for a power grid. My thoughts if one of the micronuclear plants could be brought here, then that could bring cheaper power to our residents. One of the biggest things that has raised people out of poverty more than anything else is access to cheap energy. The more expensive energy is, the more expensive every product is, and people's money goes less. Cooling system, so it would have to be a specialized one for the brackish water, require processing. And then if it was fresh water at all, a closed loop system so that it was the most efficient and we're not losing it to evaporation, and the same water can be cycled continuously. And that would be, Chaparral does, any fresh water, we're going to have to go somewhere where there are existing water rights. And most freshwater water rights in the state are accounted for. Chaparral was a possibility because there are large water right holders, Colquitt's, for example, And so potentially they could be interested in it. Potentially they're not. But there's not many other options for that. So the other option would be the brackish water, which is a separate set of water rights, and there's an opportunity here. There's state initiatives to develop that and research it, so there's money and funding for that. And it could unlock ways to get more water to our area that is fresh. You know, because if the data center funding comes in and, you know, funds that technology and research, then the byproduct, because it's only going to use so much of the water, is that we have access to more fresh water, that this technology gets put in place and can process it, and we can tap into this water that we can't use right now. And that's a way to get around the issue right now that there isn't enough funding to do the research and develop the technology that would allow us to access the water. So they don't have to be mutually exclusive or one or the other. It could be win-win. If the company is not financially successful, how will the residents be protected? Who cleans up the mess? So let's just talk about solar. Those projects are huge and require lots of money, and to be honest, funding structures that don't make sense to me. Like they don't make sense. But there's a mechanism called an industrial revenue bond, and that allows them to get funding. It does not come from county taxes or county residents. It does not put the county on the hook. It comes from some other place, and I cannot explain that. That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense. Like bonds are like a magical unicorn thing with funding, and there's layers upon layers, and math people say that makes sense. I don't believe them, but it works, and that's how we have. We already have some large solar farms that are under these mechanisms, and there's more that have come in, and they generate PILT or pilots, payment in lieu of taxes, and half that goes to the schools, and half goes to the county, and so far we're getting like $500,000. Well, I think 250 to us and 250 to the schools right now each year from those, and there's some more coming on board. Those are like 30-year life is the life expectancy of those projects generally. They have to have a decommissioning plan or a remediation plan. So when they're done, or if they prematurely shut down, the land has to be restored to the condition it was before they came. And it's an issue that early on some of these companies failed and skipped town. And so to address that, there are bonding requirements that they have to put up. So if they do leave, there's the amount of money available to remediate and restore the site, whether it's just because they're done with the project or because they're leaving. So that would absolutely be in place. And part of the agreements would be, what is in it for the county? What is in it for the residents? Because we're not going to do this if it's not going to get us any benefit. Like, it needs to be a lot of money on the table. The juice needs to be worth the squeeze, and it needs to bring revenue into the county so that we can actually afford to provide services that residents need and put infrastructure that people need. Without some source of revenue like that, it's just not going to happen. You can't get water from a rock. Will a data center be getting tax breaks of some kind? If they did an industrial revenue bond, that is the purpose of that. It gets them property tax breaks on personal land, the property. Because so much of it's public land, it would be on the equipment. It's where they would be getting the infrastructure. That's where they would be getting the breaks. That is still providing money. Does the PROS company have a track record of data center work? they better. If, one comes, we're not gonna entertain someone that's like, I'd kinda like to build a data center. Well, if you haven't done it, maybe go somewhere else. How long will construction take? That's something that is premature. We don't know right now. So, again, just asking the commission to do a formal approval for me to research and reach out and see if anyone is interested in what it could look like. And we'll have meetings, provide an update each month, and if something comes to light, then we'll have public hearings. In light of that, does anyone have questions? Sir?
Can we also ensure that whatever public meetings we have close to the communities that are actually built? Because I know that I was able to take the day to come here, but not, most people in my community don't have that opportunity. As Chaparral is a bedrock community, people live there but work elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
something that we need to make sure that, I understand this is just the first step,
Mhm.
but we need to make sure that the community is involved through all the single steps that are taken in place. And at least we do have the opportunity to watch this from home if but there's not an opportunity to actually voice your opinion.
Mhm.
Now we expand that opportunity to voice your opinions and have freedom of speeches, controlling an environment that, won't come in and just make some plans on whatever. But
Yeah.
to be able to have this type of discussion, that would be great for the remote communities that this will be involved in, regardless if it's Chaparral, or it's closer here, or Mesa, wherever the project may be. We just need to make sure that those voices are represented, heard by, and in a way that is accessible to people with regard to disabilities, the work schedule, school, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right thing to do. So, meetings in the location where it could potentially be, and probably multiple meetings, once in the evenings, once in the day, so that everyone can, and providing some type of mechanism for feedback to come in for those that cannot physically get there for whatever reasons. So that could be emails, letters, yeah.
Can I add one thing? That you got to realize too, the state of New Mexico has removed or has stopped our ability to operate the ICE facility down there, which was revenue to Otero County. So now when that revenue was stopped, Otero County has to reach out somewhere to try to generate some revenue. So everybody wants roads, everybody wants this, everybody wants that. We have to look into the future to try to do this. And again, everybody understands what a feasibility assessment is. We're just trying to get information. And we will be, I can assure you, having the meetings and stuff, but this is something that the county has to do to look out, trying to make the future happen.
Mr. Matherly, it seems like it's a revenue thing, is that what you're saying?
Everything revolves around revenue. If Otero County hadn't raised their taxes in how many years?
So how much do we need? How much are we short? What kind of projects could emulate this other than a data center? We haven't asked our county that. This is the first time that I've seen you guys be so desperate for money that you're going for a data center. I mean, you didn't put out a call to say, hey, Otero County, we're going to be short this much money. A data center's one idea. What else have you got out there? What other visions are there?
Well, ma'am, when they eliminated that ICE facility, they eliminated $500,000 a year coming to the county. In 2 years, that facility would have been paid off, okay? No, you gotta understand, ma'am, you gotta understand where we're coming from. We're looking to the future, how we're gonna pay the county bills. This again is just options that we're looking at. You're
Why
getting.
this option, sir? That's the thing. Why this option with no discussion, no open time with the community?
Today is the very first step of discussion.
Discovery Center Coalition. It's huge. It's been happening, coming together for some time. It's talking about big money, long-term stability, and it's not even on the table. It's not even a discussion. I don't get it.
Well, no one's come here and talked about it for one, so, I mean, that's
Where
an
have
issue.
you guys been? I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be unprofessional, but seriously, the fact that you guys are saying this is the only thing you've come up with is an outside to inside transplant of a data center? It seems very myopic.
There's two other things on the agenda that are economic development related today, too. I mean, I will do anything from a bake sale to you name it. Like, we are limited in what we can do, and people want housing, they want homeless shelters, they want a lot of things, and those cost money, and our current budget, we're barely able to cover it because of our tax base. So, you know, minimum, yeah, we want 500,000 would help, but 100 million, 200 million would build some dang roads. So, you know, let's work together.
The jobs that are generated from data centers cost 100 times more than the jobs generated from other kinds of projects. You guys aware of that? Check with Brookings. I mean, we need to look at the reality of these things, and we need to ask our community, if we're that short of money, how come we're not asking? No, I've seen nothing anywhere saying, hey, we need more, you know, we need somewhere in the range of 500 to 100 million per year more to do the kinds of things which are X, Y, Z. Where do you guys put that out there?
Well, tax increases always fail on the ballot, and bonding measures for schools barely pass, and begrudgingly.
We're a brilliant community. We have the data center of the universe right here. We have home and airforce base. We are the STEM capital of the world when it comes to innovation and creativity. We are a more resilient community than anywhere else on Earth. We have survived the start of the atomic age. We have our RECA claims out there in our community. We did that. It took us 21 years of lobbying. We did that, you guys. I don't understand why you want to transplant a little piddly data center from outside with all the pollution and legal liability issues when we're already the STEM capital of the planet. Why not advertise what we already have and bring people to the Tularosa Basin and become the iconic identity that we already are and simply share it out and cash in on it a little bit?
I think we should do that, and I greatly appreciate the work that's been done on the Downwinder project.
That's just one piece of our Tularosa Basin. I mean, we have the agriculture, we have the forest, we have the fire management. We're the capital of the Southwest with Native American art and Hispanic art. I mean, what's wrong with us that we can't see that we already have a data center concentration? We are the center of data and STEM. We're about to have the Native American STEM conference up at the end of the Mountain Gods. You guys gotta get up there and see what's going on. I mean, seriously, I just am in total disbelief that we would be thinking of bringing in somebody else's, lemon project from next door.
Ms. Bulow, you had a question?
Pay for anything.
You have a question?
Nothing on
Your
that
statement?
Okay, can I say something now?
Go for it, Joanne.
Okay. One more thing is that you might want to go to the data center that is in El Paso side, the Texas side, because then you can see the actual pollution type things and then make decisions. Maybe there's some that are better or worse. I do understand that I thought that we lost $6 million.
We did, in 2028, it'll be $6 million. That's when we would be getting the rent for the building. The bonds will be paid off, so it's a $6 million hit to our budget.
And I remember when the governor was here on promoting her crime bill, which SB3 is part of it to prevent, so that can help bring some money. But she did say, and there are people up in Santa Fe, and they have economic plans, and it seems to reach us. Not that you guys aren't doing it, it's just that it never seems to reach us. And maybe I'd be in favor of giving you money, transportation, hotel room, whatever it takes to go up to Santa Fe and sit down and say, hey, you said you would help us, so where's your economic plan? One other thing that this area has not looked into is the outdoor recreation. When they made that department, it was because Colorado, Nevada, and California, they actually had a director of outdoor recreation. We have it here, building hiking trails,
bringing people in to do more outdoor sport things and whatever. I mean, it really, we don't do enough for tourism. I really don't think we do. When I have family come from New York, it's like White Sands, but then we don't have stores all the way around to White Sands so they can stop and get stuff. They'd have to come in here and then they go to Las Cruces. So we need to keep them here. And there's a guy in Tularosa that's building, he bought 40 acres, it's by the creek. He's gonna have a tent area to camp out. He is going to have a mobile park, like recreation park, trailers to come in, and a picnic area for our residents, which is, wow, we used to do that as kids, you know? We just went down there and had our own, but now you might have to pay, but that's gonna bring tourism. And then, of course, maybe they don't want us always stay in their trailers or tents and they'll need a hotel. So there's a lot more that we could maybe bring in, more hotels and whatever. But I just think, I really don't like the idea of a data center, and they say they're gonna be obsolete in 10 years, so, I mean, we'll get money for 10 years and then they'll fly away into the outer space or whatever. So maybe that's something, I mean, I'm just trying to be optimistic, because I know we need the money, and I personally don't agree with the retention centers. So I just hope that we can quit building Alamogordo around prisons and crime, and let's start doing more positive stuff.
Harvey, what else could we look at other than data centers? Because me personally, I'm not in favor of them, I'm not. But when I was in Washington a couple of weeks ago, Commissioner Turner, he's from Loudoun County, Virginia, and they've got the largest concentration of data centers, I think, in the world. And he gave a really good presentation on that. And I mean, it has definitely added a lot of money into their economy. But, you know, he did talk about some of the downfalls too, and he has some really good information that I'd like to get to you on that. I mean, how some of that recycled water, it picks up some of the metals as it's going in and it becomes PFAS and PFOA after that. So I would just like to do a really deep dive on any of that. But me personally, I'm not in favor of a data center. I'd rather find something else, you know. And if there's something else in here, I'd be happy to approve for you to go out to do like a feasibility assessment and try to find other companies. But for me, the data center is not at the top of my list.
On the agenda too, we have geothermal,
Right.
And there's some funding for that, and we are there's been testing done. I can get into it when we get to that item, but there's potential there. And then our MOU that I want you to consider for the microplex, micropolitan combined thing is tailored to tourism. Like I said, I'm open to any idea. If anyone knows of something, I'll go do it. Like if it's bake sale, sure. And to the point about the data centers in El Paso, I think we should look at, and I wrote down what this gentleman said, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Alan, about the water that's going to the data center in Texas coming from New Mexico. Like that's problematic. Like we got to fight for that.
Picture of that. They're every morning. Probably hours of the day. I can show you right now the picture. But they're in Acalina and 54, and Riley 54, grabbing the water from our it's still New Mexico. So
Like are they going and tapping a faucet?
No, I'm pretty sure that they have some type of agreement with the local authorities.
Oh, okay, okay.
But the thing is that we're still using New Mexico water.
And it's fresh, and it's fresh
And it's
water.
fresh water.
That's
It comes from
outrageous.
the fire hydrants. And
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that all they're grabbing illegally pushing the water. It's through legal agreements and whatnot, but.
It's hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Yeah. Oh, and so the desalinization, like that's another. We need to be attracting companies for that because the resource that's there.
Isn't Holloman doing that already? Cleaning the
There's
water?
discussion. We have the testing thing out here that.
I know you were in ships and they do it all the time.
Yeah, and I lived in San Diego, and they're taking seawater and doing it every day. So.
Did you guys participate in the desal days the other week? out there just to kind of get an update with the behavioral work?
At the test facility?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't aware
So
of it.
I mean, I would highly recommend that the three commissioners and yourself spend some time with Melinda out there to actually understand the capacity of the facility and what the work is with desal, but also with the PFAS, because like as Markart said, if we were the place on planet Earth that is the place where we don't just begin to solve the PFAS problem, but we start upscaling what happens for that, we put ourselves again on the map for STEM. And this is what I'm talking about. I totally agree with you, Ms. Markart. We need to think about what our resources. The fact that in your very letter to look at the data centers, you identify that we have clean air, isn't that something we want to keep and not soil? I mean, that's one of the things that attracts people regionally to our area. We have this incredible pristine environment that does have a little bit of overlay still, and we do have our cancer thing with the downwinders that we're still dealing with. But we have been so resilient, and we have kept a beautiful basin of hope and creativity in spite of all of our adversities over history. And we do have, just like in Tularosa, we have dozens and dozens of small businesses. And down in Chaparral, we have dozens and dozens of small emergent businesses, which are vibrant and which bring people from out of state and our community here every weekend. We have 700,000 people going out to White Sands to 1 million people, and they don't have the overflow capacity. They want us to develop the Tularosa Basin Discovery Center coalition model. The people out at Capitan who can't take all the visitors they get for Smoky Bear, they want to come down and see our historic bear part of the story of the Smoky Bear story. These are things that are already happening around the basin floor, and they do have that. We have $1 million, I think it is, approximately sitting on the table at the city, ready to make advances on the Alameda Park Zoo upgrades and whatnot. We just have a little bit of a mess there with leadership, but once that stuff gets ironed out, things are already in progress. Those MOUs should be with ourselves, with each other.
I'm sorry, I just want to suggest that maybe the county set aside a day and put out the word, this conversation about income. The county needs income. And I think the community probably has a lot of ideas. And maybe there's a way to draw the county people into that discussion, ideas, like set aside a day that's going to be like an academic conference or something. People can make presentations of their ideas. Absolutely. Because it sounds like there might be a pretty good resource there for that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's exactly, I think that's exactly right on point. Thank you.
Utilize our borders residents and Otero County residents to know what is good for this, what possibility of infrastructure that would support and increase the income.
That's just a thought. But it seems like there's quite a resource of ideas out here that you might want to tap.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are you guys, do you want to go ahead and move ahead with RB doing this and remove the data center and let him go ahead and see what else is out there? Or, how do you feel about it?
I am curious as to what it is. Not that I am for it, but I am curious to see what a lot of the information could be put on the table. I don't want to spend thousands of hours of RB's time when we need county time too. But I'm just kind of curious at a lot of these options, because some of these options, even on these other two that are in the agenda today, could roll over and participate and be helpful for things that we can make something else work. That's just my feeling on it. I would like some info just to see, and like I said, it could join together with some of the other. That's my feeling.
What are you thinking?
Obviously, economic development is something that we need. But I am not willing to give away any of our safe resources, including our air and our fresh water. If we can find a facility that has clean air, I'm gonna go down and look at the one in El Paso. That's our only proposal, it is a hard no for me. If this is a proposal where they have to use any of our fresh water, it is a hard no for me. So there are things that are unknown, this being the first conversation. And I agree that I don't want to put 1,000 hours into this. I want it simple, maybe just a simple look of what the proposals are from companies. They can say, you know, their sustainability, their reclamation of the property, you know, everything that can be covered. Then, you know, I would like to educate myself a little bit more. But as of right now, I'm a no. I'm a no on the data center. But let's see if this is 100% for us. But just so you know, that I'm willing to listen to the argument on the other side. I really appreciate you guys coming here because you guys educated me with the emails and what you said here today. So yeah, I am still a no against the data center. So they have a hard sell to get me to win. Okay, so whatever, I'm okay with a little bit of research, but one hint of pollution, one hint of use of our good water, and I'm out.
Well, it would be a good deal if we could develop a deal to use that backrich water, water that is unusable. That is, I mean, we don't have enough fresh water as it is anyway, so you need to venture that way on that option. And I agree with you on a lot, but I want to educate myself. I want to see what he can come up with. Like I say, it could join over to these other deals that we got too.
Do you want me to reach out to Commissioner Turner in Virginia and see if what because they've got all kind of studies and they've been doing this for years, so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Helpful information.
Really, all I'm asking today is for you to approve this as an official act that I can say they're open to hearing how it could work, and I can send some, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. I'm gonna send some letters and then see what comes back. But, you know, you are well aware there's a lot of other things that I gotta get to, so I'm not spending much time.
You're not lack of work to do that for sure.
He's not an outdoor recreation director yet.
He is not. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for the requested approval and authorize the county attorney to conduct a preliminary feasibility assessment and stakeholder outreach for the data center and advanced energy development.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Hopefully something else comes through that'll be beneficial to us.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to, we'll go back up to number 20, request approval of resolution number 03-12-26/114-58, presentation and acceptance of the FY 2025 financial audit. And Julianne is sick today, so we really don't have, I don't think.
And Harley was going to be presenting, but he had another meeting at 11.
Okay.
So he's asked to reschedule.
Okay, so do we just need to table this?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna table item number 20 for now.
I had 1,000 questions ready.
Keep them written down.
Okay.
Okay, number 21, request approval of resolution number 03-12-26/114-59, disposition of personal property and fixed assets in accordance with state statute through govdeals.com and online auction service. Do you want to recuse yourself? Okay. Okay, I don't have any questions on that.
I don't either.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve resolution 03-12-26/114-59, disposition of personal property and fixed assets in accordance with state statute through govdeals.com and online auction service.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Commissioner Barella abstains from that. Number 22, request approval of resolution 03-12-26/114, 61, authorizing the county attorney to pursue geothermal energy development partnerships and federal funding opportunities on behalf of Otero County and providing for related matters.
So Commissioners, this is kind of along the lines of what we just talked about for quite a while, but one thing that I haven't mentioned is, we have our federal military installations all around us, and something that they are currently looking at in the interest of national security and defense is having their own reliable sources of power, microgrids. So in case like the main grid goes down or it's attacked, they can stay operational and do the things they need to do to address whatever's going on at the time. And with that, there's a need for energy that is cheap and reliable, and so that goes back to nuclear, but also is geothermal, and our area is has some opportunities for that. There's been some testing, and it's been positive and shows that there's potential. And so I have spoken to some of Holloman leadership, and they're working on this, and there is a opportunity for $170 million that is coming due at the end of the month. And so we're kind of a little late on it, but I just want to be able to send some letters, connect with the base leadership, and get it out there that Otero County is open to supporting this however we can, and that will help them being able to show that the local government is on board. Because some of what the people doing the research or the businesses that are looking to go places are going to be looking at is what do I need to do to get started? Am I going to have to go through a big permitting process? And is the local government going to be open to it? And if we already say that we're open to it, and they know that there's not a big regulatory framework or permitting here, that could be the difference between them going here and going somewhere else. And so it will help us, and it will help our military partners.
And they've started construction on that field right there where you turn off to go to the entrance to the base right now. So they've been on there for about 2 weeks out there working now, so. They got one started right there for them, and I'm sure that's what it's for. It's going to mainly feed to the base, and then it was supposed to also feed back to us too some, but just to let you know that that one is started.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to request approval of resolution 03-1226/114-61 authorizing the county attorney to pursue the global thermal energy development partnerships and federal funding opportunities on behalf of Otero County and providing for related matters.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 23, confirm public hearing date, March 25th, 2026, for adoption of ordinance number 26-01, junked vehicle ordinance. Discuss proposed amendments to penalty provisions, exemptions, and administrative procedures.
So Commissioners, we don't have to get into this today unless you want to, because we're going to have the public hearing.
Okay.
But if there was a desire, I just wanted to put it, make it available. This is just addressing some areas where we didn't have tools to deal with these issues, and it better addresses the uniqueness of our county and the culture and history, and creates carve-outs for different situations that like agriculture and the unique needs that has versus like Bernalillo County maybe, where it's much more urban and you don't have these situations that way. It's much more fair application of the rules, and the code enforcement guys that are enforcing it get better direction on what is and what is not an issue. And then it creates a better framework for people to apply if they have a special vehicle, whether it's like a collector vehicle or antique, or one man's treasure is another man's junk, and that gets real hard for our guys. And
Some people have a lot of treasures.
yes,
I drive by them every day, and I think that is not a treasure.
and so it's just providing some parameters around all of that.
Okay.
So, I have a lot of input on this, and I don't know if you want it now or wait. And I also need to know what my line is, because I am the only licensed dismantler in Otero County. And I most likely need to recuse myself when it comes to voting on this. But there's a lot of stuff that I think we need to fix in definitions. So, and I've written notes. I don't know if you want to just kind of discuss that now before we put this in proposal, because there's some stuff that already we're up against is dismantler rules, New Mexico DOT rules, and motor vehicle rules don't coincide with each other. They're
Really?
contradictory.
That is so
Oh my
shocking.
gosh, can you believe that? So I kind of want to address that in that fine line, and there's some definitions in here that I want to include.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
is that a now time?
Let's meet and work through it and
Okay.
have it ready for the public hearing.
Okay.
Because I did take your feedback that that was missing from the previous one, and it's a variable that we need to consider, and it sounds like I didn't get it there, so.
You got, it's very, very good. I mean, I read it very thoroughly. This is very, very good. I just think we just need to fill in a couple more holes.
Okay,
and,
yeah, let's meet early next week, and then we'll have that ready for the public hearing.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so all we're doing is voting to confirm the date?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I make a motion to confirm the public hearing date of March 25th, 2026 for adoption of ordinance number 26-01, junk vehicle ordinance.
March 25th is Memorial, oh, I'm in May, sorry. March 25th. Okay, and what, do we have a time?
There's no time in here yet.
Okay.
Is it 6?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's advertised already, so.
Okay.
I'm glad I can make it. I didn't catch that in here.
Yeah, I've already got it on my calendar.
And here, it'll be in this room? Okay.
Okay, all right, that's 6. Okay, I got it. You got it?
Yep.
Okay, all right, did I get a second on, you a second? Okay, Gerald, I first,
And when am I allowed to vote? When am I allowed to vote? When am I not allowed to vote?
well, we're just voting on the date now, so you should be able to vote on this.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I made a motion, Gerald seconded it, so. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
6 p.m.
Okay, number 24, confirm public hearing date, March 25th, 2026, for discussion of ordinance number 26-02, renewable energy facility ordinance. Discuss proposed ordinance and related concerns.
And so, Commissioners, this is also confirming the public hearing for the 25th on this. And this one, we won't be approving it at that one, because I felt that there should be 2 public hearings on this one. Just because it's, there might be industry that wants to weigh in, so I want to make sure that there's opportunity to do so. It is just putting parameters around the renewable energy industries and
We need those.
giving the ability for the public to have more input. Right now, if one's coming, a solar field or something is going in a property adjacent to you, there's not much input or ability to do so. And so this creates that and gives you an opportunity to weigh in, whereas right now you don't have that,
Okay.
unless they're coming for like a IRB bond or something.
Okay, and so this is also for March 25th, we're going to do it at the same meeting?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
You guys doing 2, did you say on that? That's the first one is the 25th?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
going to, do them both on the same day or at the same meeting?
All three of them.
And 2 hearings for the renewable energy ordinance.
Okay.
So the other one is not scheduled yet.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to confirm public hearing date, March 25th, 2026, for discussion of ordinance number 26-02, renewable energy facility ordinance.
I'll second.
Everybody seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 25. Request approval to authorize the county attorney to transmit the draft MOA to Lincoln County Attorney for review and negotiation, and authorize the Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce to begin preliminary coordination with Lincoln County and Ruidoso Chamber of Commerce on the regional initiative concept. I think you guys will like this one.
Yes, we will. Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So I need to state again, like, this is very preliminary. I did have on there idea that if some funding is needed for demographic studies and stuff, that the Sacramento Mountain Foundation could potentially be a source of that. They have not officially signed on or anything. I've let them know and shared the information, but that is not a done deal or anything. That would be part of this discussion that I would go have with Lincoln and them and the chambers. So I just want to make that clear, and then I'll talk about the concept. So in the early 2000s, there was a concept that was called a microplex, and it was where 2 cities or towns that were near each other, and I guess I'll back up. So corporations, businesses, and industries have numbers in mind when they're looking for places to go or expand to, and 50,000, a population of 50,000 is kind of a standard metric for that. Could be a little different now, but that's typically what it's been. And so there was this concept in the early 2000s called microplex, and if 2 towns were within 60 miles of each other, and they didn't have a population of 50,000 individually, but together it got them over that number, they could combine their populations through agreement, and it was even officially through the White House Office of Management and Budget, but all of the information about that is gone now. What you can find is that Clovis and Portales did this, and I think they're like 15 or 20 miles apart, and they first did it in like 2002, and then renewed it in 05 and 06, and to this day, they promote themselves in marketing information and like Chamber of Commerce things as a microplex. And they have, when you go there, they have some things that we don't, as far as restaurants and businesses, and I can't say for certain that the microplex concept is what led to it, but I can't say that it didn't either. And this doesn't really cost us anything. Now the updated terminology is, and this is also through the White House Office of Management and Budget, and it goes along with the census data. Areas are classified as micropolitan statistical areas, and so Otero County is designated as one, and Lincoln County is designated as one. And it goes into census data and other demographic data like that. And there's a process to combine 2 adjacent micropolitan statistical areas to increase the population and marketability. And the official process for that does require that there be a commuter interchange of 15%. And based on the data I can find right now, we don't have that. We're at 12%. And so that is where getting some updated demographic studies could be helpful, and where we might approach the Sacramento Mountain Foundation for some help. But we don't need that to just start this process and do it. We can do a county-to-county agreement that we are a joint micropolitan statistical area, and we can name it something. I think there's some names that I've got in there as potential, like the White Sands Corridor or something like that. And it gives us the ability to market a population of 90,000 with a national park, skiing, mountains, racetrack, casinos, pistachios, everything else we have to offer in one big package. And that sounds a lot better than when we're apart and not working together. I don't know for sure if they'll be on board, but I've had some preliminary conversations with a few commissioners that I know better than others, and there was at least some openness to it. And the Chamber of Commerce here in Elmore has really been working on this for the last 2 years. I was aware of it, I tried to research it, and I just got Clovis and Portales, and then all the data was gone, and it was a dead end. They kept after it, and they got the letters, they found the letters designated as micropolitan statistical areas, and we're seeing how they can market that. And with that information, I did some more research and found that we could do this. And with additional research, learned that we can get this started and accomplish it with a simple memorandum of understanding between the two counties. And knowing that, it's like we have nothing to lose, and we get the paper signed, and then we let the chambers and the cities and stuff when they're marketing, like, use this, and we see where it goes.
I think it's a great idea.
Yes.
Will this incorporate the village of Tularosa too?
Everyone in Otero County, yeah.
Countywide, so
But to go to each of the villages and the cities and get them all to sign on, we're talking 8 months from now. So, and it's not necessary. So county to county accomplishes it. So this is the fastest, least burdensome way to accomplish this. And then they can get the benefits from it.
I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sticking with this, and thank you to the chamber for their work on it, because
Absolutely.
big deal.
I'd make a motion
Okay.
to authorize our county attorney to transmit the draft MOA to the Lincoln County Attorney to review and negotiate. To authorize Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce to begin preliminary coordination with Lincoln County and Ruidoso Chamber of Commerce in regional initiative concept.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you for that, Artie. Okay, now we will move on to our commissioner updates.
Okay. Was participating in the KOCD, the cleanup effort out on the bypass, which was a fantastic turnout, I thought, from the first one. I want to thank all of our departments that participated in it. I wish there had been more, but we'll take whatever we can get. According to Sylvia, the admin department won the pizza party, which they're having at 12 o'clock today.
I'll help you pay for that.
But anyway, it was a great turnout. I just want to thank everybody for that. Made a special meeting. We had a special meeting at the county, which you gentlemen that are running for commissioner, you have a lot of those. I just want to make sure you.
It's not just a monthly meeting. They lied to you when they told you that. Run for commission, it'll be fun.
So you just listened to a couple hours on the 25th, so anyway. So I went out to the groundbreaking at Mesa Village for the new apartment complex out there, which is going to be really a great deal. The Air Force and everybody is behind it, which is going to be great because we need more housing, more available, affordable housing. I keep saying that affordable, I just say it because they're supposed to be bringing it down on the price range of the enlisted military. So that was a great deal. went to Cloudcroft High School. They had a Firewise meeting up there. There was a good turnout. Not as good as the one we had last year. There wasn't as many residents there. There was mainly forestry, fire departments and stuff like that there. But there was still some good information. I've asked Matt to, let's try to get another flyer made we can send the residents and try to get them to get online, register with the departments on their address and stuff like that. There's a new app, my phone's off, that Matt and them came out with. I believe it's called the Genesis app. Genesis. And it's a good thing that everybody, it affects you here in Alamogordo, so it's a good thing. Again, a lot of the communication was, the information up there was trying to clean your property up and all of that. So, which is a big factor in all of it. We also went to the Forest Service office in Cloudcroft, and they had another fire meeting. It was very interesting because with the weather and stuff, and I'll really believe it if they say the wind doesn't blow like it did,
Awesome.
Last year, we did have some very serious winds and stuff, so that, I don't want to see those again. If it just blows our normal wind, that'll be fine. Went down to the Chaparral meeting. It was very interesting. Met this gentleman right here down there, and I took Chris down to, that's kind of part of the territory too, so it was an interesting meeting, and then that's really about it.
When you did have foot surgery, you gotta throw that in there.
Did I have what?
Your foot surgery.
Oh, I did have my foot surgery, I'm healing from that, so that's kind of why I've been kind of not out of touch, but out of sight, So, that's been a long, drawn-out deal. I was supposed to have that in December. Got sick for 3 weeks. They wouldn't do the surgery because of that. So earliest I could get was February 6th, so I pretty much stayed in my house so I wouldn't get exposed to anything. And so, anyway, I'm on the healing side. I gotta wear this boot for a couple more weeks, and then hopefully I'm done with it, so.
Me? Not much at all.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I attended a behavioral health meeting at the hospital. I believe LULAC was the sponsor of that. I went to 2 of the 3 concert days of Master's Voice at my church. It was absolutely amazing. I went to the Mescalero Land Exchange meeting and absolutely learned a lot, and I'm in complete support of this agreement because with us losing the racetrack, it's going to absolutely harm the casino, and they are being very proactive in trying to be financially sustainable, and I think that this land swap is absolutely going to do that. I went to the Tularosa Village meeting. I had a lot of phone calls about their 49 blocks and what, not their code enforcement, but their planning and zoning committee is approving. And so I just went to put in what I thought could be added in to allow public input in that meeting. And then I went to the Flickr Center, the Gary Sinise event. That was really good. Really good. I went to Soul Food Night at the college. That was the best eating ever. Yes, that was really good. Went to the 100% Otero meeting at the worship center. I don't think you call it that building. I don't know what it is, but the worship center. Stayed till about noon. Those are always very informative. I met legislators in Socorro. I testified with Judge Schneider in Mescalero at their council meeting on behalf of the MOU and the agreement and the direction that we're going. And that was about an hour of talking about the plans and the directions and all this with behavioral health and the funding availabilities. I went to the groundbreaking at the Sandura Apartments. I went to the soil and water meeting, and that was amazing. I was there, I always go to soil and water meetings, but the dams are the number one topics up there, and I want you to know, they have hired an engineering company that specifically does dams here in New Mexico too. And they said that our soil and water organization in our district is top notch, that they have followed through with every single state requirement, every single inspection, every single maintenance requirement, and this is the best reporting that they've ever seen. So this, for one dam, this $211 million proposal, I think this engineering company is going to be able to show that the progress that we have done since the 50s, everything we've done since the 50s is going to be able to get the cost down and maybe be able to save that dam. So that is to come. Went to, I don't know what I did. Behavioral health. Oh, I participated in a, can't read my handwriting. Behavioral health forum at Otero County Hearts. I declared for re-election because I want to serve everybody for 4 more years. And I also want to tell RB thank you very much for trying to keep our county economically sustainable and looking at every single option that we possibly can.
Yep.
So one thing I want to add to Amy's deal is, I also went to the deal with Flickinger. I always call him Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how many of you realize, but he's coming to Holloman in July.
July, yes.
And he's bringing his band, and they're gonna have a concert and stuff out there in July also, so.
I've also been working with Keep Tularosa Beautiful. You know, they have their Rose Festival coming up. And they have requested a major cleanup of Tularosa. And so they want 2 roll-off containers in addition to what we have in the last 2 weekends of April. In order, they want one positioned, I gotta look, an extra one at the bank, and an extra one, I think it was nearby the church. And they're gonna really push cleanup drives in an expectation of great turnout for the Rose Festival.
Good.
This is Rusty, correct?
Yes, yes. And I have his formal letter of request if you need that.
Yes.
Okay.
The code department has roll-offs too that they will bring out if Ralph can. Sometimes we get them from Ralph and then, because Bill used to always get them for me when I had them.
That's, you know, Bill hasn't been present at the last couple of cleanups. Is he still doing that? Is that part of
Bill Farmer's retired.
He retired.
Oh, so we don't have him replaced.
So it would probably be the best, we get hold of Matt or Cody, Cody, and they can get those put out wherever we need them, or wherever you need them.
Okay.
If Ralph can.
Okay, yep, I've got the letter. I'll give it to Sylvia.
Are they having the duck races during the Rose Festival, or is that a different time? Okay. Okay.
I think that's all.
Okay. Okay. I attended a New Mexico Association of Counties Board meeting in Santa Fe, traveled to Fort Worth to speak at the American Stewards of Liberty Summit. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins was there. She was one of the main speakers. And Wyoming Congresswoman Harriet Hagman were the 2 main speakers. And I got to speak with the Forest Service Chief Tom Schultz while I was at that summit about the Goss's grazing allotment. So I feel like it's worth the trip just to get to talk to him for a minute. Traveled to Washington, D.C. to the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. Met with the New Mexico Senate and Congressional delegation, except Stansbury. She was the only one that didn't make it. Speakers at the conference were U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Chairman of House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee U.S. Rep. Sam Graves, U.S. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, and Chairman of the House Natural Resources Committee U.S. Rep. Bruce Westerman. So that was very interesting to get to listen to all of them speak. Attended the special meeting for the county and traveled to Reno, Nevada to the Western State Sheriff's Conference. Department of Homeland Security, Christy Nome, made a surprise appearance, and I got to pass her a message through one of the sheriffs. That was the board was meeting with her for like 20 minutes before she spoke. So Sheriff Helton from Lee County's on that board. He said, "What do you want me to tell her?" So I sent him a text. So he got her the message. So that was useful. And then the meeting at the Forest Service in Cloud Cop the other night. That's a good meeting, a lot of weather forecasts and how they're expecting us to get with our rain and our fire season and the dryness. Very interesting. It's a good group, and I'm glad that we have those people working for us to watch out for the forest for us. So that's what I've got.
One other thing I was gonna say before I forget, and I will. Mrs. Tilbrook here, this will be her last meeting. She will no longer be with us, so.
Moving on.
I thought we had an agreement that she couldn't leave until after I left, so.
What happened to that?
I guess, I don't know, it fell apart somewhere. So anyway, but thank you, Sylvia, for everything that you've done.
Yes, definitely, yes.
I went and twisted her arm yesterday and tried talking her
Say
out of
pretty
it.
please, please.
Yeah. Because,
I'm gonna miss her.
And I didn't mean to make her feel bad, but I did want her to feel bad.
Okay, Pamela's not here, so we'll go on to the county attorney's report.
We definitely have big shoes to fill with Sylvia leaving.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I don't know what we'll do. It's been busy month, commissioners. I'm trying to remember everything that happened. I'm glad the legislative session ended. 30 days is too many. Working on the Sendero Metropolitan redevelopment designation. It's pretty much done. Identified a larger area that we can use to incentivize hopefully some development and businesses. But the first step, we took steps that we didn't need to with Patriot Point. And that was to assist the developer with his lenders. We don't have that here, and so the first step is with Alamogordo. So as soon as they pass their ordinance, we can take over and do our steps. Made contact with the Economic Development Department, and there's a couple things I'm going to work with them on. I'll have something for you next month. I'm not going to mention it right now, but it's something that we need to bring to the county, and the decision will be made. It hasn't been announced yet, but it will be decided later this summer. So I'll try and get that going for us. And then they have a site readiness program, and I want to make sure that we're applying to that and have areas identified for that. That's any property, and they've had different rounds of it, and some rounds were for government-owned property, and other rounds were for private-owned property, but it's anything that has been identified as ready to be developed. And I think we probably have some things, and depending on how some things work out with some of our things we've got going on, it might be a solution for a long-term deal we got to do. And I've been working with Pablo on a grant to redo the Weed Community Center, and I'm sending that to our federal congressional team. And so fingers crossed that maybe we can get some funding for that. Went to the honorary commander ceremony, I think it was last week at Holloman, and I got moved from the 29th Attack Squadron to the 9th Attack Squadron. Love my previous squadron, I'm sad to leave, but the new one's pretty cool, and so I'm excited to work with them over the next year. Last Sunday, I helped with an event at the Space Museum. It's called Women in Space, and it's part of a monthly series that the Space Hall is doing. So each month they're going to have a different event, and they're working really hard to make them fun and good events for the community to participate in. So I really hope the word gets out and people start attending. It was a good event. I've been in touch with the Soil and Water Conservation District, talking about the dams, and looking at it some more, doing some more research. I think it's not just their issue, it's ours too, and so I'm doing what I can to help them get in compliance and develop a plan that is actually financially viable to make sure those dams are safe and taken care of. And then I did read this weather prediction on, I guess we're going from a La Nina to an El Nino, and that report predicted some heavy monsoon activity late in the summer and in the winter, with desert flooding, and I thought of those dams, and definitely need to be working on them, seeing what we can do. And that's all I got.
That's a lot. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, we are gonna go into executive session, so. I make a motion to hold an executive session under NMSA 1978 10-15-1 to discuss pending and threatened litigation.
I'll second that.
Do we want to do a roll call?
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall?
Here.
Commissioner Matherly?
Here.
Commissioner Kelly?
Here.